Hey everybody. So we've been posting to YouTube for about 6 months now. Didn't know what we were doing. Still, that was silly to say. Still have no clue what we were doing. But we didn't know if we wanted to do it weekly, frequently, what our channel was. We still, again, don't know. We know we wanted it centrally Disney. We are annual pass holders. We love Disney. We're very passionate about Disney, and I love sharing the magic, of Disney. It makes me so happy, and I would love to make other people happy. Talking about Disney or helping them with Disney, I do not want to be a vacation planner. I do have a full-time job, so I know I couldn't be a vacation planner. They wouldn't want me to be anyways. I couldn't devote enough time to it. But I didn't know if we should just talk about Disney, if maybe we should share things we do in our area with Connor to kind of help people in our area of things they could take their kids to do. I have posted some videos like that. But since we started this, I really thought about, should we share our infertility story? And I was inspired by Allison WDW. So I was inspired by Allison WDW Girl today. I mean, she just gave me the push I needed. That if I can just let one person, one couple, one family know they're not alone, then I will feel like I've done my job. So our infertility journey is a long road. I had to write notes so I would remember. Again, I know this is a horrible subject for some people. Just stop watching. It's kind of, TMI. You can go ahead and warn you that. Fertility journey started in high school. Things just weren't as they should have been. My mom finally took me to the doctor. No blood work was done. No ultrasounds were done. I was given a pamphlet on PCOS. Basically sent home with it. Wasn't talked to about it. Left on my own to do reading. Awful. Awful. Won't mention that doctor's name, but not my favorite. So then Daryl and I got married. And we got married in 2014. And before we got married, we talked about both of us not desperately, but both of us wanted kids. It was, we both had siblings and we wanted kids, and we wanted more than just one. So I had a good friend who had been diagnosed and was having a hard time. Also, my mom, had some trouble with me getting pregnant or whatever. Sorry, she's probably not going to want me to say that, but yeah. So I went. I was like, this was a couple months into marriage. It wasn't the timing that I would have picked, but I just kind of knew in my heart, it just wasn't going to be easy for us. So we got married in July, so probably August or September of 2014. Went to the doctor. He gave me an ultrasound. They make you go off any birth control you're on, because they want to see it like it is. So went off the pill, went to the doctor, full-blown PCOS. Every little thing checked off for it, right? So, and listen, I can take this kind of stuff. I know some people can't. They're a little bit more tender about it. But statistically, you're less likely to have a miscarriage if you don't have as much weight on you. So this was a different doctor than the first one I saw, and he said he recommended me lose weight. He said 30 pounds and then come back, and he was 6 months or whatever. So I did it. Okay, you're telling me this is what I need to do to get pregnant, sustain the pregnancy, deliver a healthy child. Absolutely. That was kind of my mentality the whole time. You just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Shots, check, whatever. I knew I was meant to be a mom. So did that. Went back on, enjoyed being married, traveled a lot, was on metformin. They put me on metformin immediately, and I lost the weight. Well, I went back, and he kind of wanted me to continue going with my weight loss, and I was kind of nope, it's go time, I'm ready. So we went to Preg. Oh, if you are in Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, Asheville, Preg is where it's at. I love them. I can't say enough good things about them. And he was happy with my weight. He was happy with my BMI is a big thing. And he was like, are you ready? Like, you ready to have a baby? I said, yes, I'm ready. At this point, I was ready. So they put me on Clomid for 1 month. That did not work. It works for some people. It just didn't work for me. I got a really big old cyst that took up the size of my ovary. So I had to sit out a couple months to get rid of that. Once I got rid of that, they put me on Femora. I might not be saying that right, but I was on that for a while. You know, I was constantly getting 1 to 2 mature follicles, and it wasn't working. So then they added injectables. Still wasn't working. And also during this, like once I started with preg, I was doing the shot that makes, you know, the follicle release. So I was ovulating, you know, I was taking the shot that was making me ovulate. It wasn't happening for us. Added injectables, still wasn't happening for us. And then probably a year and a half into like consistently trying, they suggested IUI. So we did it one time, it didn't work. And I just kind of wasn't feeling it. Like, my heart just wasn't there. I just didn't think it was the right thing for us. I don't really know how to explain it. It seemed like a lot of money that you could be saving into going into IVF, when I just didn't, you know. My husband, Daryl, he was not the problem. It was me. And IUI to me was more like, if the guy, you know, is the problem. And he wasn't. So I was like, I don't know why this would do anything. So maybe it didn't work because I went into it thinking it wasn't. But the second time we did it, I did it twice. Promised my husband we would try IUI twice. The second time we did it, y'all, I had 5 mature, ready to go follicles. And they even like sat me down and were like, you could possibly have multiples. And how do you feel about that? And, you know, what would you do? And they just really wanted to make sure, like, I knew it was very likely I would get pregnant with more than just one, right? Y'all, I didn't get pregnant. Nothing. Out of 5 mature, nothing. And I said, I'm done. You know, I'm done. I was like, take me to Disney World right now, because I need a minute, because I just, you know. And, you know, IVF is no small feat by any means, financially or on your body. You know, a fresh IVF, you are taking medicine, like shots, to create the follicles in the embryos. Then they retrieve it, and then if you do a fresh transfer, you're taking shots and medicine to sustain it, to, you know, get your estrogen and progesterone where it needs to be, because it's not happening naturally inside of you. So it's a lot on a woman's body too. And so I knew like I was going to do it. It was just the timing financially. This refund type plan that Preg offered, basically we would get 3 IVFs and all the frozen embryo transfers that went along with however many embryos we transferred and however long it took out of those 3 fresh IVFs. And if it didn't work with all of that, we would, I think it was like 90% refund plan we would get. So basically, they're not going to say you're a candidate unless they're pretty sure you're going to get pregnant. So that was hopeful to me. So went to Disney, and then we actually took out a loan because it was over $20,000. I'm just going to keep it real. It was over $20,000 for this refund plan. But again, we were going to get 90% back if it didn't work. Sorry. So we did it. This is so funny to say, I overreacted to the medicine. The plan was to do the medicine, to do the retrieval, and then do a fresh transfer 5 days later. So they put you to sleep when they do the fresh retrieval. I don't know if that's for everyone or just for preg or what, but they put me to sleep, They retrieved the eggs, and all I remember is waking up in kind of like the recovery room, and the nurse was just kind of blunt and to the point, which is how I am. And she just was like, you're not going to be able to do a fresh transfer. Your body has overreacted to all this medicine. We retrieved 66 follicles from you, which is a lot. And she was like, again, blunt. She's like, you're going to be sick. You're going to be in a lot of pain. This is going to be a hard few days. You're going to have to take a couple months off. So I just remember looking at Daryl. We didn't say anything. We went home, and y'all, what made it so much worse was I was told, you know, it wasn't going to happen this month. I was going to have to take a couple months off. I looked 9 months pregnant. If I would have gone out in public, I would have been like, you're about to pop, you know, like 60-something follicles were retrieved from me. So they kind of follow up with you within the next couple of days of how your follicles are doing, the embryologists do. So out of the 60, 30 were mature. Out of the 30, 10 fertilized. So again, I was sick, couldn't do a fresh transfer. They were all frozen. So took a couple months off. During that time, I kept having, this was in the first couple weeks, I went into preg twice for them to drain fluid from my ovaries because I was so swollen and full of fluid. I had gone to preg that day for them to drain fluid, and they were like, you're overcoming this, like you're on the mend. That night, I woke up, and when I'm in pain, like I get sick. And so I remember like telling Daryl like to go in the other room, that I felt really sick, and you know, he needed to go in the other room because it was in the middle of the night. He had to work the next day, go in the other room and get sleep. And he like immediately looked at me concerned, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I just like grabbed a heating pad and put it down there. And then I was like just take deep breaths. And I finally called Daryl, and I was like, something's not right. And I was screaming in pain. I was like, something's not right. So he ended up calling an ambulance out to get me. My mom met us at the hospital. I had a ovarian torsion. My right ovary flipped 3 times on itself. I remember the doctor, because they like start you off, they wouldn't start me off with any medicine until I saw a doctor. And I was like screaming in pain and nothing. I mean, not even Tylenol. Like if I would have had some Tylenol in my purse, I might have would have considered it. So finally the doctor, I remember they wheeled me back in from the ultrasound, and the doctor was like, you have ovarian torsion. It's very serious. It's one of the most painful things a woman can go through. How's your pain? And I just was like, this has got to be a joke. Like I'm trying to think, what would Jesus do right now? But you know, like you and me, doctor, we're you know. So I was like, it's a 10. And he was like, well, now that I know you're actually in pain, I mean, I don't just come to the hospital in the middle of the night for fun. Like, but anyway, so they called in my doctor from preg. He did the surgery. He saved my ovary. I was out for 2 months for real after that. I mean, there was like not even calling and being like, well, could you reconsider letting me transfer? It was like, Allison, you need to take a break. And so yeah, I was out of work for a couple weeks. It was probably the most humbling thing of our journey, and it took over 2 years for us to get pregnant. And it kind of put me on my bottom and was like, you might have to do the refund plan. Like you might not be able to carry a child. Like this really might not be for you. And you know, Daryl was always the best, you know, pretty much. I don't want to say like he was perfect, but he was like, we're gonna be parents. Like I know we're gonna be parents, Allison, and it's just how we just have to trust in the Lord and have him follow, like he will lead us into how we will be parents. So I took my 2 months off, you know, went back. I had some they grade, you know, your embryos. I had some excellent graded embryos, and I still do. But we decided to transfer one. Our first frozen embryo transfer, we transferred one. It was a grade 5AA, like the best of the best. Everything looked amazing on paper, y'all. Like lining, everything. Like, you know, if they were betting people, they'd probably bet that we would have gotten pregnant. We did not get pregnant with our first frozen embryo transfer, it failed. Not only did it fail, but I was getting my hair done at the time, and I felt like it wasn't even like 2 weeks, y'all. You know, the whole 2-week window. It wasn't even 2 weeks. Like, it wasn't even, like, that was not supposed to happen yet. And really, like, they put you on medicine for it not to happen. And I was getting my hair done, like, I was relaxed. I was like, I'm, you know, might be pregnant. I didn't tell her this by any means. Not many people knew, but I was like, I might be pregnant. And I felt, and I went to the bathroom, and I somehow kept my composure to get out of that building. I could not call my husband. I couldn't. First mistake was I started driving. Should not have drove. Like, should have been, like, stayed parked. Could not call my husband. I could not call my sister. I could not call my parents. I called my best friend, and she's been through some stuff in her life, but this probably was like one of the most devastating phone calls she's ever gotten, because I couldn't breathe. And I just kept saying, I started, and she just kept saying, no, no. And I was like, could not breathe. Like, I still hate that, like, you know, and I told her, I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't call Daryl. I can't. And she's like, you have to call your husband. So I called Daryl, and he thought we were going to have to go to the hospital. You know, he didn't know what was wrong. And he got my mom to the house and met them there. And we called, and they were just like, you know, you're not out until we say you're out. Come to Prague tomorrow. So I went, and I was like, y'all, you know, I appreciate your optimism, but this is a period. It is what it is. Like, there's nothing about me that thinks that the test y'all are about to give me is going to be like, she's pregnant. Like, this is a period. So it was. I was not pregnant. So sat a month out, and then I was like, we're transferring 2. I'm okay with twins. Look, actually, I wanted 2, and I was like, we're done. Like, what? We'll have 2 at once. I won't go through this again. I'll be done. They can take my woman parts if they want to. Just, you know, I knew I wanted 2 children, but like at that point I was like, I know I'm not saying twins aren't hard, but this is hard, and this is lonely. And I remember telling friends, like, when you meet someone, you talk about kids. And if I would have told Daryl in the beginning, like, I can't have kids, we might not have ended up together. Because, like, I know for me, like, if someone would have come into a relationship and said, kids isn't on the table for me, I don't want kids, before I fell in love with them, if they told me that, oh gosh, I hope I'm not, like, before I fell in love with them, if they told me that, like, we probably wouldn't have ended up together, because kids weighed so heavily on my heart. So I was like, and let me just, infertility has broken up couples. It is stressful. It consumes a lot of your money. You know, it has. Our thing was, we knew the Lord placed it on both of our hearts to be parents. And we knew the Lord was going to bless us with children. We just didn't know how. And, you know, people will tell you on the journey, you should just adopt. Well, I'm sorry I keep looking back. Like, I've got the door shut from the dogs not being able to get in, and they're scratching at the door. So I don't know what's worse, if I let them in or if I didn't. But we're going to leave them out, and we're going to push through this video. So sat a couple months out, went back in, was like, we're transferring 2. And they were still good quality. One was a 5AB and one was like a 4AA. So we transferred 2, and 1 stuck and made it through the whole pregnancy. I did end up with preeclampsia at the end. Y'all, he just walked in the door, our little IVF miracle. I'm recording this in his playroom because I just wanted y'all to have a little hope. I didn't think I'd ever have a playroom. Hey, baby, you want to come here? I'm recording a video. Yeah. Come here. Hey, you see the video? Hey, can you say hey? Hi. He just had a haircut, didn't you, baby? I'm telling them the story about how we had you. Yeah. Can you say hey? Hey. You're so handsome.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Come here. Can you say never give up?
No.
Say no.
No.
Don't give up. Say just believe. You are so silly. Y'all, I would go through every last thing again.